As COVID-19 new cases surge, government remains resolute in its vaccination campaign. Today we ease your concerns by answering some of your questions, plus applying the electronic system that simplifies the process of trade. Hello, I'm Adrian Atkinson and welcome to Jamaica Magazine. Please continue to observe the COVID-19 safety protocols of washing or sanitizing your hands, wearing a mask, maintaining distance of 6 feet, and stay home if you are sick. The latest news is up next.
Good day, I'm Theodore Henry, and this is your JIS News for Thursday, August 26, 2021. Education Minister Favour Williams says government is contemplating having another weekend vaccination blitz for our children. The minister's comment follows a 4-day blitz event to inoculate youngsters 12 to 18 years old, which she says was a successful start to the vaccination program for this cohort.
Depending on the results, we may have to have another blitz, depending on the take-up. So we will see in terms of the numbers, and then we will obviously send out information to persons.
The 4-day blitz from August 21 to 24 was possible due to the recent donation of Pfizer vaccine from the United States government. As for the general public, vaccination is ongoing with the AstraZeneca and Johnson & Johnson vaccines. Close to 20,000 industry players from the tourism sector benefited from the recent return of cruise ships to Jamaica. Portfolio Minister Edmund Bartlett says the recent docking of Carnival Cruise provided well-needed income to several families that were impacted by the 17-month hiatus of cruise shipping due to the COVID-19 pandemic.
It was an exciting moment for the people in Ochias, for the cruise workers who had not done any work for 17 months, for a number of the tour operators and ground transportation people who hadn't taken any cruise passengers for the same period, and certainly for the shops and the vendors and the craft traders, all the players who have traditionally been part of this big industry, but who had been laid off, furloughed, or otherwise out of a job.
Minister Bartlett says strict COVID-19 safety protocols were put in place before the arrival of Carnival Sunrise and will continue to be observed for the industry. Plans are in the works to transform the Hounslow Research Station in St. Elizabeth into a center of excellence for small ruminant production in Western Jamaica. It's part of the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries Public Infrastructure Program, targeting the rehabilitation of research stations across the island. At the recent launch of a $50 million ruminant development program, Portfolio Minister Floyd Green said the Hounslow Station was underutilized. He reasoned that with the development of the Center of Excellence, greater focus could be placed on the rearing of sheep, goats, and rabbits.
Now we need to incorporate the technology. We need to use research to drive what we do. We need to ensure that our investments are made on business principles.
A similar upgrade is planned for the Bodles Agriculture Research Station in Old Harbour, St. Catherine. Minister Green says the facility will be equipped with modernized training tools for best practices in meat processing, storage, and packaging. Work is also ongoing on a national livestock policy. Jamaican athletes who won medals at the recently concluded Tokyo Olympic Games, along with their coaches, will soon be rewarded with an investment package worth $41 million. The Jamaica Olympic Association and two of its key sponsorship partners, Supreme Ventures Limited and Mayberry Investments, will be providing the package through an initiative dubbed Olympic Rewards Program. The Supreme Ventures Foundation is contributing $30 million, while $6 million will come from Mayberry Investments and $5 million from the Jamaica Olympic Association. An athlete who won a gold medal will get a $6 million reward. $4 million each will go to silver medalists and $2 million to those who copped bronze at the Olympic Games. A similar cash amount maintains for relay placing. $6 million will be shared among members of Jamaica's gold medal-winning 4x1 women's team and $2 million shared among the women who placed third in the 4x400 meters relay. Coaches will also be rewarded for their work. They will receive $1 million for an athlete who won a gold medal, $750,000 for an athlete placing second, and $500,000 for those with a bronze medal finish. This coaching reward is only applicable to individual medalists and not relays. The funds will be under investment management at Mayberry for a period of 3 years or until the athlete or coach's retirement from track and field, whichever is earlier. At the end of the period, the athletes can decide whether they would like to cash in their investments or maintain their accounts. The Heart Foundation of Jamaica, HFJ, is partnering with other institutions to embark on a CPR community training program for approximately 1,000 persons across the island. Director of Emergency Cardiac Care at the foundation, Dr. Hugh Wong, made the announcement at a recent JIS think tank.
The primary goal of resuscitation, of course, is to increase immediate CPR rates, increase the use of AEDs, increase the number of patients who arrive at hospital alive or having still undergoing CPR, that we can increase our survival rates. A number of persons have died when they should not have died. And that is the focus of the Heart Foundation, to prevent the loss of lives that could be saved. And that life could be yours.
Dr. Wong points to a 2014 audit study at the Kingston Public Hospital on the outcome of persons who received CPR prior to arriving at the emergency department, which he says highlighted the importance of cardiopulmonary resuscitation.
What we found out was that those who received CPR at an immediate survival rate of 18%. In other words, 18% of the patients who had cardiac arrest survived to admission. Then 9% were alive at 48 hours, but only 5% of the patients were able to be discharged from hospital.
August 23 to 28 is being observed as CPR Week under the theme, Keep Pumping. The Heart Foundation's Director of Emergency Cardiac Care is also imploring private and public entities to invest in an automated external defibrillator, a machine that provides shock to restart the heart, as he says applying CPR alone may not be adequate. And finally, Prime Minister Andrew Holness has described as a great loss the passing of one of Jamaica's most preeminent scientists and academic scholars, Professor Gerald Layla. Professor Layla died on August 23 following a brief illness. He was 90 years old. The Prime Minister remembered Professor Layla as an astute scientist and educator who had a significant impact on several sectors through his work as a geochemist. Mr. Holness extended condolences to Professor Layla's family, the University of the West Indies community, and other colleagues and friends. Professor Gerald Layla founded the International Center for Environmental and Nuclear Sciences and is the recipient of 3 national honors, including the Order of Jamaica. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.
Jamaica's COVID-19 vaccination plan is still in effect. If you wish to make an appointment, please do so online by visiting moh.gov.jm or by calling 888-663-5683. Vaccination still a keep. Go get your jab today.
The conversation around COVID-19 vaccine is quite active of late due to the blitz being carried out by the Ministry of Health and Wellness. Some persons are getting their jab, seeking more information, while others are still not sure. But as part of our responsibility, we are sharing answers to some of your pressing questions.
We cannot continue in managing the pandemic by always shutting down. Shutting down has serious financial implications.
That's why government has opted to scale up its vaccination drive. It's another instrument in the state's toolbox aimed at wresting the country from the grips of the COVID-19 pandemic. And unlike other measures currently in place, this tool is one that only you can effectively utilize. Since March 2020, Jamaica has been in a fight against the coronavirus. So far, the island has taken heavy losses. The death toll is rising. COVID-19 cases are increasing. Hospitalization rates are going up. Schools have been forced online. Business and recreational hours have been curtailed, and the list goes on. But now we have a chance to turn the tide, and that fighting chance is through vaccination.
Why should I take a COVID-19 vaccine?
Are COVID-19 vaccines safe?
Are there side effects?
Yes, the questions are many, but the government is making itself available to give you the answers you seek. Let's start from the beginning. Vaccines are a type of medicine that stimulates a person's immune system to protect against the disease. When vaccinated, the body can make antibodies to fight an infection before you become unwell. COVID-19 vaccines are more than 82% effective in preventing infection. The vaccine is administered in either 2 doses or a single shot, depending on the brand. In the case of the 2-dose vaccine, the first and second shots are given 3 weeks apart. Once a person receives the 2 doses, they are not fully protected until 2 weeks later. Common side effects of the COVID-19 vaccine include injection site pain, fatigue, fever, and aches. Persons may also experience other side effects which don't usually last longer than 3 days. After 72 hours, if side effects continue, you are asked to seek medical attention. Vaccinated persons may still be able to get infected with COVID-19, though the chances of this are minimal. But what's more comforting is that you are unlikely to get severely ill from the infection. Now that we've got the basics out of the way, let's get down to the meat of the matter.
Why should I take the COVID-19 vaccine?
The vaccine is there to protect your life, your livelihood, your happiness against a virus that can kill you.
Why should I take this hurry-come-up medication?
The work in the development of the vaccine depended on all the scientific knowledge that we've built up over the decades, developing the childhood vaccines that are so effective and safe, but also went back to 2005 with the SARS outbreak.
These vaccines have a long history of development. Though they were rapidly brought to market, they were in development for a long time. The technology around the development of these vaccines is well tested and well proven as well.
How effective are vaccines?
The vaccines that are authorized by the WHO are proven to be effective and safe. They are not perfect, but we do find that they are very effective in preventing people getting severe disease, and they are safe. It's very rare serious adverse events occur.
Can COVID-19 vaccine cause death?
The level of concerns in terms of adverse reactions, those have been statistically insignificant and very small. So in general, the vaccines appear to be very, very safe.
In fact, you have a bigger risk if you go into your car in the next hour and drive for 10 minutes or 15 minutes. You have a bigger risk of dying in a road accident.
Can the vaccine worsen a medical condition?
Calculate your risk. If you feel you're sick and you're too sick to take it, get your doctor's advice.
Is the vaccine the virus?
The vaccine is prepared in a way that it cannot really infect you. All it can do is stimulate your immune system.
It is in the achievement of herd immunity safely that we will be able to dispense with these non-clinical measures, which have had a devastating impact on our economy.
When is the best time to take the vaccine?
The time is now. We have vaccines. We have enough vaccines that if you should come out tomorrow, we'll be able to vaccinate everyone who would come.
Does the vaccine really protect?
It will almost always protect you from serious disease, even due to Delta. But it may not prevent you from becoming infected. You could still get infected with the virus, but your body resists getting very ill. And most people will resist getting any symptoms, but there is still a little risk that you could. Hence, we keep on the mask. All of us are vaccinated, but we keep on the mask.
How can I get the COVID vaccine in my community?
We will come to a community near you. If you are in doubt as to a location, contact your closest health center. We have 325 of them across the country, normally within close proximity to a community, or your parish hospital, or your member of parliament, or your councillors, or your church leaders or civic leaders, because we're going to be reaching out to them.
We have mapped where our persons with special needs are, and we will be engaging them.
Which COVID vaccine is the best?
The best vaccine is the one that is available. And we will have all the approved vaccines, or most of the approved vaccines. But take the first vaccine that is available. That is the best vaccine. That's the safest one, because the quicker you get it, the safer you are.
Let's get back on track. Let's keep ourselves and our families safe. After all, we're one Jamaica, one family.
The Jamaica Single Window for Trade, J-SWIFT, has been simplifying the process of trade through the implementation of the electronic system. The benefits are numerous, to include a paperless integrated system with all border regulatory agencies.
Committed to improving and simplifying the processes of cross-border trade, Jamaica is now fully implementing the Jamaica Single Window for Trade, J-SWIFT.
J-SWIFT is a single portal which allows for traders or their agents to submit applications to the respective border regulatory agencies. That is to obtain a certificate or permit, any sort of approval that is involved in cross-border trade.
The aim is to transition the physical paper documentations through a seamless interconnected online access point with the over 20 cross-border regulatory agencies in Jamaica. Effective August 23, 2021, all exporters or their brokers requiring a certificate of origin from the Trade Board Limited must submit their application using the Jamaica Single Window for Trade, J-SWIFT. Therefore, all locally manufactured goods and agricultural produce for export must have an authorized certificate of origin. This is in order to access and obtain preferential treatment in other territories and markets. A certificate of origin is a declaration form indicating the country in which the commodity or goods are manufactured. This document also provides details about the product and the country it is being exported to.
The J-SWIFT system now brings a fully digitalized service where all of that can be done from the convenience, whether it is your home, your office, or wherever it is. And also the services that are being carried out by the respective BRAs, those can be fulfilled within the same ecosystem or same ecospace. And of course, the approved permit or certificate can be retrieved electronically. So there's no more moving in terms of physical dropping off of documents, etc. All of that is being done online.
The Trade Board Limited, TBL, one of the authorized border regulatory agencies for approving certificates of origin, reviews the trader or agent application and grants approval. The trader or agent is then able to print the approved certificate of origin using the J-SWIFT system.
When our clients submit certificates online, those certificates are automatically assigned to an officer for processing, and what we do is that we log into the system and we retrieve the documents that are assigned to us. We check information for the company that is exporting the products. We also do a check to ensure that all items have been approved by Trade Board Limited and that these items are really deemed certified for exports.
The trade or agent prepares the J-Swift Certificate of Origin application to obtain preferential treatment under the relevant trade agreements. The trader or agent then pays for the application and await the feedback from TBL.
The feedback from our client is that this is a preferred method because they are always indicating to us that they want online, no physical document to be submitted to them. Jerry and Nebby, our primary client, would submit the document to us online by email for us to prepare a certificate of origin for various CARICOM countries. What we normally do is we prepare the CARICOM invoice, we scan that document online, and then we go on J-Swift platform and we prepare the certificate of origin. This normally takes about 10-15 minutes, after which we submit for payment. Once the document is paid, then it takes about 24 hours for the process to be prepared, after which we submit this document to our client.
Leading the implementation of J-Swift is the Jamaica Customs Agency. It's also the host and operator of the platform in partnership with cross-border regulatory agencies. The benefits of traders include greater convenience and faster processing time, online application, payment and approval, online access to the approved certificate of origin, plus a system-generated CARICOM invoice. J-Swift, your window to trade.
Hurricanes can strike at any time. In the event of one, be prepared to act quickly. If a hurricane watch or warning has been issued, review your home disaster response plan. Map out likely routes to evacuate if your home is at risk and confirm with relatives or friends you plan to stay with. Also, confirm the location of the nearest shelter. Check your emergency supplies and restock if necessary. Remember, disasters do happen, so be prepared.
Every month of the year, there has been in our history some incidents of flooding that has taken place in some aspect of the country. And that is something that we have to take note of. Apart from monitoring and giving the forecast, we are also responsible for warnings. And so there are some warnings that we want you to take special heed to if you consider yourself to be vulnerable in any situation. When we speak about a flash flood watch, it means that there is a feature, some kind of weather system that is going to produce enough rainfall that makes it possible for you to get flooding. So it means start to watch because the water levels are going to be increasing and there is the possibility of the flooding. Now, if we start to see that in some area flooding has started to occur, or if we believe that the flooding has been so close to an area that it is going to happen in that area in a short space of time, we will escalate that flash flood watch and refer to it as a flash flood warning. So when we talk about a flash flood warning, it means not only that the flooding is possible, but the flooding either has already started to happen or is going to happen in a very short space of time because it is very close to that area. So it is important to know what the watch means as opposed to what the warning means. Usually with the warning, we will not only issue a warning, but we will also tell you what kind of actions are important or what you should not do. Like do not go through flooded waterways because it could pose a risk to your life and to your property. Also, if you live in low-lying or flood-prone areas, if it is an area that is regularly experiencing flooding, a flash flood warning for your area would mean that now is the time to move to higher ground because the flooding has already started or is going to happen very shortly. It is also important for us to know where we live. because sometimes in our messages we might not refer to the actual town, but we will tell you what part of the country the flood watch or the flood warning is relevant to. So if we talk about central parishes, we are referring to Clarendon. We're also talking about Manchester. We're also talking about St. Anne. These are central parishes. So you have to be knowledgeable of where you live so that you know whether the message actually applies to you. The messages that we issue for hurricanes and tropical storms are watches and warnings as well, like the flooding. But in this case, for a tropical storm or a hurricane, when we issue a watch, it means the conditions that are associated with the storm or the hurricane are possible within a certain time frame. If you hear tropical storm or hurricane watch, you could get the impact of that system within a day and a half, 36 hours. If we mention that it is a tropical storm or a hurricane warning, it means that you only have 1 day before that thing can affect you. So we are moving to how quickly you need to make sure that you are prepared by naming it a watch or a warning. So the watch is the first level of the alert that there is something that is likely to affect you. But when we move to a warning, it means now is the time to batten down because you most likely are going to experience that storm or hurricane. We might have a tropical wave, which is the least of them, in that it can still cause a lot of rain and it can still cause flooding and devastation, but it will not have very strong winds associated with it. But then there is the tropical depression that is a little stronger because now you have winds that are moving with it, gusty winds, and it also has a lot of rainfall. Then you have tropical storms, which is a more severe kind of tropical depression because the winds are even stronger. And then if it gets even stronger, it could become a hurricane. So it's important that you have your radio and that your radio is battery controlled, not dependent on electricity, so that you can hear the warning messages that come from the meteorological service. Also bear in mind that if you dial 116, you will be able to hear the latest message coming out of the meteorological service related to any warnings. We cannot stop paying attention. We cannot let down our guard. You have to prepare yourself and stay prepared until we are out of the threat.
Without a doubt, tourism is Jamaica's #1 industry, and our dedicated workers are its greatest asset. Jamaica would not be the heartbeat of the world without you. As the industry rebounds from the impact of COVID-19 pandemic, we truly need all hands on deck, yours included. Vaccination holds the hope for tourism's full recovery. In addition to COVID-19 protocols, it is the only comprehensive way to fight the pandemic and save lives. I am therefore urging every worker in the tourism and hospitality industry, in all the subsectors, including accommodation, attractions, entertainment, transportation, and craft, to do your part and get vaccinated. Do it for yourself, your family, your workplace, and your community. Do it for Jamaica, land we love. Stay safe. Get vaccinated.
This is where our journey ends, but only for today. Do join us again tomorrow when we will bring you another informative program. In the meantime, stay connected via our website, jis.gov.jm. And while you're online, send your feedback to Jamaica Magazine at jis.gov.jm or via tweet at JIS News. You may also find us on all the major social media platforms and through our mobile app that's Android and iOS compatible. On behalf of the entire production crew, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Do take care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.